Hi, Ray.
Oh, I was just about to send an email.
Well, yeah, I started checking it an hour ago and couldn't get in, so finally got in.
No, what it was is Eric said that he had some settings wrong and it threw up and crashed and whatever, but I was able to get in, oh, I'd say about 45 minutes ago.
Oh, okay, because I'd tried it half hour ago and couldn't get in.
Yeah. I sent out an email at like 4:39 my time, and that's the wrong thing. There we go. Yeah, when did I send that out? Said I was hosting. Yeah, 4:39.
Yeah. Uh, I texted my brother Rodney, and he was going to
Mhm.
wait till at the half hour. So I don't. He's probably given up on this.
Yeah. Mm. No, I've been in and on, you know, all during that. Who was it that told me? Yeah, Rodney told me. Call never came on. I don't know what happened. Mine was in a waiting loop.
Yeah,
And,
mine was
and
too. It looked like the host had to sign on
yeah,
for it to open up. So,
right. And that was Eric, and he finally signed on.
okay.
And then and that's how I got in. And then he was having to change some settings. And then he said, "By the way, I gotta go. You're hosting." I went,
Okay. Well, anything new?
uh, let's see. I went to my club had a show, had a home and garden show. Actually, it was like five shows in one. My screen's not on right now. I'm trying to finish up cleaning up what I was doing. Um, But yeah, where we set up modules and we had over 30 feet in distance by about, oh, it's 6 feet wide by another 30 feet by 6 feet wide. So uh, it was uh it was fun. One of the guys posted a video of a train that I was doing some DCC changes on, and it's a blade train where it's a windmill train.
Sure. Yep.
And it's five engines, three of them up front and two in the middle. So it's effectively a consist plus a DPU. And I'm
Well,
using economies for the sound and three China lace DCCs uh, units for this DCC control.
I imagine that was popular.
Yeah, it was 32 feet long, and the guy only wanted his train only, so we used the inside track. We have a dual track, east and west, right hand rule, whatever you want.
Sure.
And and I tested it at our home layout down over in Carson City, Nevada, and I posted a video on it. It's about a 3 minute video. I mean, it worked, but it wasn't speed matched. Boy, you could hear the grinding if you had the speed just at the wrong setting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I ended up doing a semi-speed match before the show. I still got to get them renumbered, and there's a volume issue with the DPU. He wants it turned back up. We talked about having it down so it wasn't primary, but it was too quiet. So I'll turn it back to normal, and then we can decide later.
Yeah. There's always a lot to do on something like that. With the lock sound, you can keep tapping on the F8 key, function key, and the volume will change to 6 or 7 different levels,
Hmm.
which is kind of nice. To, besides muting, I mean, it will mute, and then it'll you get different levels of volume there. I don't think Soundtrack does that.
No, I it's fine.
Yeah,
It I enjoy Soundtrack's equipment that they've produced in the electronics. It's pretty simple, straightforward. Anybody's DCC system can use it. Um, However, I've been doing an update for a gentleman out of Iowa of either it has nothing in it, it has something in it, but it all gets changed to Blue Nami.
sure. Yep.
He's not even going to have DCC out there. He's just going to have, let's say, 12 volts or 20 volts even he could have. And you put your choo-choo out there at 20 volts and it goes smoke.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you don't just put anything on his layout now.
So what is maximum voltage on the Lunami system?
I think their recommended is 22
Oh,
at
22.
max.
Oh,
At the
wow.
max. Anything over that, like 27 to 30, you start to smell smoke.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, of course, you got protecting for shorts. I mean, with DCC, I have the um, specialist circuit breakers,
Mhm.
but they don't support DC. They're just DC
Right,
only.
right.
So I would think, um, boy, protecting you're talking about DC voltage of up to 30 volts, right?
Well, no, no, no. You don't go over 20 in my mind.
Okay. But
Yeah, yeah.
a
Technically,
DC voltage of 20 volts. Yeah.
yeah, technically, I wouldn't want anything more than, let's say, a common power supply value is 15.
Yeah.
Something over 12 is 15. Don't go over 15.
So how's he
Yes, your
handling?
shorts still need, yes, your shorts still need a methodology, a circuit breaker-ish setup.
Yeah. How's he handling the reverse loops?
For what, Lunami?
Yeah.
I'd have to route you over to Soundtracks over to George on that one. I don't know.
Be,
Um,
be, because, I go back to DC days when we had toggle
yeah,
switches, center off,
right.
down
Yeah,
throw.
you gotta put toggles, right? I imagine still in the same way, you'd have to
I,
do that
I
too.
would think so. Otherwise, you're going to have shorts and reverse.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Huh.
But no, all I know is he's going to be using it in a point-to-point layout, not in a.
Oh, yeah.
Or even if you want to consider it, you could loop instead of reverse. You just the
Yeah.
main.
In a point to point, unless you have a Y, um,
Right,
there
right.
shouldn't be trouble.
Yeah. I got a layout design out of one of John Allen's books for
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Chicago Northwestern. And it's got a little Y down there. So yeah, I would have to handle that. Even with DCC, you got to handle it too.
Yeah. It's easy enough to throw in the frog juicers or one of the reversing um, units, but
Yeah. And then we got Bill Carl online. Hello, Bill.
good
He's on
evening.
mute. Hey, there he is. Hadn't seen you or heard from you. Tell us about yourself.
I lurk. I was on here a few months ago. Rodney was talking and just trying to figure out how to do LCC stuff and then how to do cats and working on a guy's layout and blah, blah, blah. Rodney sent me a list of steps I need to take and videos I need to watch. And I'm only just trying to do like several things at one time.
Only?
Yep. Most of
Yeah.
us try to do it one step at a time or one project at a time. Like first, let's implement signals, and then second, let's do it with LCC, and then third, let's do cats. But now I got to do it all at the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's quite an undertaking. Now, my layout is LCC controlled with, but I've already programmed the signals, and I just started a month ago using Rodney's cats and and trying to still discovering things on how to interface with the LCC system, but we're working through it.
And I'm not convinced of the magic yet with cats. They say you don't need to do the track plan and such inside JamRI, but in my mind, I should do all that first just to make sure that we can operate the layout properly and that sidings are where they're supposed to be and turnouts have been entered and sensors and coils and so forth have been entered properly. And then to me, you'd add on cats on top of it. But
Yeah,
again,
I think that's pretty important because you got to set up your sensors.
oh
And
yeah, you gotta do sensors and turnouts. That I agree. But someone told
yeah,
me that I didn't have to do the track plan inside JamRI. I'm like, well, how's that magic happen? So,
well, yeah, I'd still do it just to check things out.
and I
I'd,
think
I'd
this
have a
is
JMRI panel and make sure, like block occupancy is being detected and turnouts are being thrown and uh, everything.
exactly. So I just thought I'd pop in. I just had to be sitting here working on two other projects. I'm like, hey, look, they're going live. Let's join the Zoom meeting versus you watching it on YouTube 3 days from now.
Yeah.
would have been about an hour of me looking at you
All right.
and yawning. Um, in my case, I am taking baby steps with cats that I haven't even installed it yet, technically. I'm taking baby steps with JMRI as it is. I mean, it looks like I'm an expert with panel, no, not with panel, with Decoder Pro, but I'm no expert. I'm using it. And so therefore, Steve, when I was telling you about the show, um, I show up with my computer and and my test track and gee, can you change this? Can you make mine do that? I went, go
Yeah.
away. It was just a test, one engine that I had just finished the night before. But it was fun. That's what you get with a portable DCCEX system. So yeah, no, Bill, what I did is I threw a panel up through Panel Pro of my dad's layout he built me when I was 2 years old. And I don't even know if I've done it right yet, but it was going to be the cat's meow. Quote, ooh, I went there. The cat's test, the proof of concept.
Hey, Bill, so which were you using the control panel editor for JMRI or were you using one of the other ones? I got confused when I first got started about which panel I needed.
I'm using the one inside JamRI, the
Yeah,
layout
but
editor, I guess it's called.
What is it called?
Layout editor.
I thought it was Panel Pro.
Yeah, it's part of Panel Pro.
Oh, okay. All right.
Or maybe it's called Layout Designer or something, but it's inside Panel Pro.
Yeah, the one I use is CPE. Um, I found it easier to work with for what I was doing, just uh, graphic, single, straight line, left to right with the turnouts and the signals and everything. Working it, incorporating it into LCC.
Yeah, it's called Layout Editor.
Okay.
I'm looking up the instructions now. Yeah, Layout Editor inside Panel Pro. I goofed around with it. We did a test, I'm going to say like 7 years ago, just to make sure that our hybrid system that we're using for detection was going to work. And I just did a one town with the approach, the siding, and then the leaving. So you basically just got 4 blocks, and well, technically 6, including the control points. But yeah, that was 7 years ago. In their test with Bronson on his detection. So a little bit of background. I don't know if you guys were on when I was on a couple months ago, but basically, my buddy Ken has we bought all of his NCE stuff in 2015 before we could even spell LCC.
You're
And
way down, you're way down the alphabet with NC. You're going backwards.
and we were heavily invested in the hardware.
Oh
So
yeah.
moving along, we had all the boosters, we had all the BD20s and such, the little detectors. So going along, everyone says, "Oh yeah, you need to do resistor wheel sets, and everyone should be able to handle a 10,000 k ohm resistor across the tracks." Well, using the BD20s, I could never get to detect a 10,000 k ohm resistor. I could do an engine, which is anywhere from 4 to 800 ohms. That's easy, but you're allowed to go 6 times through a coil on a BD20 as a maximum. And of course, you got to use a smaller wire to get 6 loops through it, but still didn't get 10,000. So, of course, I played like Mythbusters. Okay, it's a fail, but what would it take to get it to work? So now we even thinner wire and found out that 10 loops through a coil would be able to detect a 10,000 k ohm. The problem is if there's a short in the layout, that means it's 10 times the current running through that board. Therefore, something's going to melt, catch on fire, and burn the house down. So obviously, I can make it work, but we don't want to violate any safety standards, and that's why there's a maximum of six loops through those boards.
Wow. Wow.
So then we had
Yeah.
to figure out, all right, what could we do to get a 10,000 k ohm? And of course, we talked to Bronson at Railroad Circuits, and he's like, well, I got my system here, I got BOD8s and these awesome coils. And he goes, just get rid of all your AIU boards. I'm like, all right, dude, that's where we got to draw the line. Ken's got 7 AIU boards. I don't think he wants to take the loss on them. Is there any way we can figure out how to keep them? So we're using a Railroad Circuits BOD8 with his awesome coils, and we're feeding a power wire off of the AIU board into the BOD8, and the BOD8 feeds all. Well, I say all. BOD8 has 8 sensors, but the AIU only has 7 on each side. So Bronson thinks it's a weak setup on NC because you translate from 8 to 7. I'm like, dude, if it works, I'll take the loss on one port for every AIU board side that we're using. So figured out that it does work, and so basically the BOD8 is being driven off the power from an AIU board. When a coil is detected on a BOD8, it sends a little signal through the flat ribbon cable into the AIU board and shows up on the AIU. And then we turn around and look inside JMRI, and sure enough, it shows up in JMRI. So this is all working out good. So it's kind of a hybrid system in that we've got for detection. Then, of course, Ken and I know more than anybody else on the planet. We're smarter than everybody. So as we're designing the layout and doing DCC and figuring out, blocks and so forth, which we've done before in the past, we heard these words like control point. We're like, that's a Pennsylvania railroad term. Well, Ken's doing B&O in 1958, so we got CPLs. We don't need control points. We don't need that garbage. That's a Pennsylvania or Conrail term. Well, sure enough, I figured out that where you have like a crossover, you need that to be a control point since you could have, the crossover being occupied, or a dispatcher could have two trains running through that control point at the same time if they're both on their own main lines. So then we had to go back and retrofit all these control points and then also add in coils because like the one I just described now needs not one but two coils, one for each track. So we did all that, but now we're not going to buy any more AIU boards, but we got to figure out how to do the detection. So the cool thing is with our signal LCC boards, which he has like 40 some, we can tie a BOD8 into LCC signal LCC board and have it report, hey, I got something on port one. Hey, something just left port one. I got something on port five. Something just left on port five. So that all works too. We've got that working. So technically, on the LCC side, we can do detection in and out of blocks using all of our control points sensors. And we can do detection on the NCE side using the AIU boards. So we have to have JMRI tied all together to bring the NCE bus into the computer and to bring the LCC bus into the computer and have it all play well together. Now, when I do my layout, I think I'm going to be all LCC for detection and so forth. This is one of the few things I would do differently than we're doing for Ken's. But again, he was so heavily invested in NCE hardware, he didn't want to give up that much money. I mean, he's getting rid of 120 BD20s that he paid like $15 for, and now he's selling for $12. And slowly but surely at the shows they are being sold. But so that's where we are. And of course, I just can't call up somebody. Hey, the instruction manual says, page 47, step 38 to do this, because we don't have that. We are not even close to being anything that's been documented so far. And one day by day, I either make a call to Dick Bronson or Ken Cameron or Detlef. He is another one. You just have to try to eke out information to figure out how we're going to get this done. And slowly but surely, I'm getting there.
Hey, Bill, on those 8 block occupancy detector boards, feed your DCC into them.
No.
Yeah, do it. There's the reason being, if you get a short, that board will automatically keep your signals or your block occupancies as they were until the short's removed.
Yeah, but talking to Bronson on that one, that was really designed, I think, for automation. That was not really designed for us geeks doing operations. Because
well, I use it in case there's a short on my module, then the signals stay the way they were.
Sure.
Instead of them all changing because, okay, there's no more DCC. And then on those current coils, on a turnout, when you do block occupancy on the turnout,
yeah,
run both A and B through that coil.
A and B. What do you mean?
The DCCA side and the DCCB.
Oh yeah, that's a trick Bronson's now doing. You got to run in from opposite sides through the coil.
Yeah, it has to be 180.
But it does obviously increase the sensitivity by twice as much.
Well, also it detects stuff better in the turnout because there's situations where it won't detect. So if you run the 2 wires, both sides of the turnout through it, it will detect the current.
Gotcha.
And the 10K resistor is fine. Those CT coils that Dick sells and that the BOD-8 or whatever it is.
Yeah, BOD8s.
They're really sensitive.
They're awesome.
Yeah, they are. And you don't have to worry about uh, adding delays or, they're all set up so that they do a good job of reporting. You don't have to go and debounce them and stuff
Yep.
like that.
Yep. He's got a time delay in them so they don't bounce.
Yeah.
I like it because I can lick my hand and put it across the rails, and I'm detected.
Yep. Yep. That's a good way to test.
I'm really looking up here what Bronson said about, because I inquired about having to put DCC to the boards for that
Well,
feature,
to
and
the occupancy board. Yeah.
he told me that I didn't need it because, and I can't remember the reason why. So that's what I'm looking up right now. My email history to Dick. I know I saved it.
The only problem I've ran into when I fire up the layout, if I don't have my NCE DCC turned on, um, the signals get weird because they don't have anything to compare with. And once I turn on the DCC power, then they're fine, of course.
Well, yeah, because the command station goes out and polls everybody to say, hey, who's out there? Who's not there?
Well, it puts power on the tracks, and then because my block occupancy detectors are wired to look for the DCC voltage. Um, it, it, so I always turn the NCE equipment on first, then I turn on the layout LLC power. Another thing I did on the LCC power, I ran a 15-volt DC bus, and then I tap off of that to go to the um, power points on LCC instead of having a bunch of these Walmarts, you know, powering these power points. I just run off a 15-volt bus.
You're not talking about a track bus. You're just on a separate dedicated bus,
A
right?
separate
Yeah, yeah,
DC
yeah. So,
15-volt DC power bus.
yep. One of the things I did in the beginning, and I've had so many people tell me it never worked, but it's working wonderfully. So I have this power drawer, and it's running. It's got two PC power supplies, and I've got three buses from them. One is a clean 12-volt bus. One is what I call a dirty 12-volt bus, and then we've got a clean 5-volt bus. Our clean 12-volt bus runs DCC electronics, so like our switch eights or anything that needs a DCC signal. That's what the 12-volt bus, clean bus, is for. The dirty bus is for when we run like tortoise machines that just need power and we're just doing a toggle switch.
Yep.
And that's on the dirty bus because, that motor going zzz, that does put electrical noise on the wire. And we just decide to keep it off for the DCC stuff. That's what we call our dirty bus. And then our 5 volts is just for anything lighting, control panels, and LEDs, obviously with resistors. But that's doing really well. I mean, you can't even detect right now how many amps we're pulling. Not even a tenth of an amp with all the LEDs we got going on right now. It's crazy. But we are pulling some amperage on the LCC side or the tortoise side with the switch eights, and that's pretty amazing to see. We're running almost 7 amps on that. It's pretty crazy.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Well, we've got over
How
300
many
tortoises,
how many tortoises?
over 300, and I want to say
Gee.
250 are on the clean side and 50 are on the dirty side.
Wow.
Uh,
Wow.
so with that, that's kind of centered in the middle of the room on the peninsula. From there, I actually have four different exits from the drawer. They go down the peninsula to the outside wall. They go up the opposite direction to the other end of the wall. And the other two go up left and right to the other sides of the wall. And they all go down, think of it like a fireworks. They all kind of come down against the wall. And I've got a loop around the entire room connecting all four of those together. So no matter where you are in the room, there is nearby a 12-volt clean bus, 12-volt dirty bus, and a 5-volt clean bus. So if we need voltage for something, we can just tap off of it with a suitcase connector, and boom, we've got power really clean and really nearby. Then after all that, then I find out, yes, I need a 15-volt bus for the wall warts or for the power points. So I had a
Yeah.
friend of mine. He was like wanting to do anything, and even give him the shittiest jobs. We had him run the new bus around the layout on a 15-volt bus. So now we have a 15-volt bus just for all the power points to tie into with the suitcase connector and a nearby feed from that ring, that loop of 15 volts. And it's in a different power drawer now, but yeah, we did that. I'm going to say what's the word I'm looking for, after the fact, or we didn't plan on it, but yeah, I'm a big fan of having voltage nearby. And I've had some other guys. I mean, I have a double E, but I've had some other double E's argue with me. We can't do that. You can't create loops. I'm like, what do you mean you can't create loops? It's DC. It's the power. It's not like we're sending a communication signal like in DCC. And I said, think about it. Even so, let's say, on DCC, you put out a communication signal and that command station sticks it on the rails. Do you know how big the loop would have to be for a decoder to be somewhere else on the loop, that it might get confused with that packet coming from the left or coming from the right? And one guy goes, I don't know, let's figure this out. So we sat down and did the math. The loop would have to be about as big as a football field. And the decoder, the engine would have to be on the other side of the football field of our loop of track for it to possibly get confused. Which way should I go with this packet? Kind of thing. And so I don't think any of us have loops as big as a football field that we're going to have an issue with the DCC signal getting confusing our decoders running around the layout and such. Oh, the fun stuff of model railroading.
Okay, so you do have plus 15
Yep,
volt going PowerPoints because those,
dedicated.
yeah, those Walmarts that he was shipping out for the PowerPoints, some of those were slow coming up
Yep.
and it was confusing. The nodes were getting confused on my layout. So that that's why I went to, well, that, and I have a uninterruptible power supply that turns everything on. And so I can turn everything on and the whole room shuts down
Yep.
and or shuts on and then shuts down the same way.
Yeah, we got 10 AC switches that turn all the lights and all the power. We actually have AC power to a we'll say, dirty outlet sites, that all the outlets are in white. And then we also have another AC line that we only put DCC equipment on, like the boosters and the command station power supplies. And those outlets are painted orange with an orange cover. So we even put labels on them, DCC only. So that way we know that stuff is only going to be like, don't plug the vacuum cleaner or the drill into that AC outlet, use the white one below it. And with our 10 switches, we turn off the whole entire layout. So that way, if someone accidentally left the soldering iron on or something like that,
Yep.
gets cut off and won't accidentally burn the house down.
Is this a home layout
Yep.
you're talking about?
Yep.
Pretty good sized layout.
It's roughly 1,500 square feet. I think it's like 38 by 52. It's three decks. Two are scenic. The third deck up top is nothing but staging, huge staging, like 36 tracks, 3 different yards. Yep. And we got 5 boosters, 1 command station.
And
Trying to think, 7 AIUs. I think we've got 8 or 9 mini panels. We've got, I think, 20 some switch 8s.
how many DCC circuit breakers do you have?
41, I think. 41 or 40. Yeah,
41?
Yeah, 41 EB1s.
Wow.
And then we got we got 2 um, PSXs.
Yep.
Turning strength change just for our reversing loops. We have
the DCC specialist
Yep.
stuff. Yeah.
1 return loop up in the top for staging, and then we have 1 where the west end of the layout comes into our helix, and because of the way it comes in, it just was accidentally a reverse loop. We didn't know it until we started running trains and we hit the left bridge. As soon as you hit the left up bridge, zzz, zzz,
Yep.
what's going on here? So drawing it out, oh yeah, dude, this is now a reversing section. We got to isolate this, and had to buy a second one and put that in. It's all been working great.
Using solid frogs in the turnout. Are they
Um,
powered?
yeah, and they're not powered yet. Now if they're like a Walther's turnout, we're using their DCC friendly ones, but we're using some Atlas. And one of our friends taught us how to make our own custom switches. And the frogs are solid because they're just two pieces of flex track
Right.
down
Yeah.
and soldered together.
Yeah.
And I was quite amazed with that. And because I always thought you needed like to have the frog and the PCB boards to build your own turnout. Well, it turns out you just need the PCB boards. You can make your own frogs. And that's what he taught us how to do. So now Ken even made two curved turnouts that are super elevated and they work flawlessly. It's really cool stuff. Problem is, I don't have enough time in life to make all my turnouts I'm going to want to make one day. So buy what you can commercially and then make what you need to do for customization.
Yeah.
I was talking or reading up about a layout that the guy has all beautiful scenery and beautiful ballasting, beautiful track, beautiful turnouts and all that right out for the viewing. In the staging, uses Bachman Snaptrack. Just get it down, get it done.
Yep. We just use code 100 in the helixes and staging.
Yeah,
No sense spending extra money where people aren't even going to see it.
that's right.
And we put in re-railers at the beginning of every track, and it looks hokey, it's like a toy train garden, but keeps the trains on the track and no one sees it, and we're all good to go.
Yeah. One end I have a re-railer on my test track. I got a re-railer set up for power. I'm going to do a proof of concept with the Bachman nickel silver snap track, and I'm going to have a re-railer in it because it makes putting engines on a whole lot easier,
Oh yeah.
and cars. No, you're talking about power supplies. I come from an electronics background. Building custom power supplies, we would need power supply voltages for boards for sensing and stuff. So we had plus and minus 15, plus 24, plus 12, plus 5. So we'd have a rack of power supplies for whatever purpose that we needed. And we made sure that we kept our amperage up for the amount of items requiring power. So when I was listening to you, you sound like you were doing the right thing. Yes, you need that we need 24 volts. No, I wouldn't say that. As I was just telling Steve earlier, 15 maybe the max, like you just ran. The 12s, 5s, and 3s. Now, why 3s? For your stupid little LEDs just to put up lights and stop putting out resistors. And that comes off of a computer power supply for all I care.
Yep. Yep. The other thing also we did was we put in a spade terminal block so that
Mm-hmm.
a PC power supply it can deliver 30 amps if it wants to.
Oh, yeah.
If there's a short, it'll try to keep up before it turns itself off. So we put in the spade block terminals. I mean, circuit breakers, fuses, spade fuses. So that way we'll blow a 7 amp fuse when we short something out by accident when we're hooking up something or whatever. And it's easy to blow that spade fuse like automobile spade fuses than to try to burn up the wiring and such.
Yeah, automobile fuses, I don't know why we're still not using them in our DCC environment because They are so much easier, so much more accessible. Cost effective, whatever
Yep,
word.
definitely cost effective.
I mean, I got a Napa literally right around the corner from our main layout here in Carson City, Nevada, and with that and an auto zone just down the ways. So, I mean, if I need a fuse, you know, why aren't we
You go to
using?
Amazon, you buy a box of 20 of them for like $5. I mean, it's silly.
Yeah, no, I mean, do I need an immediate fuse or do I need a box of them? Yeah, yeah,
And we keep that box in the drawer next to the box, the spade block, the fuse block itself. So, oh
yeah.
crap, we just locked it. She's walked over to the box, pull the spade out, throw it in the trash, take one out of the little box, and stick it back in.
We're back up and running again.
Of course, we're pretty stupid. Sometimes, we don't turn the layout off when we're hooking up new stuff, and as we're connecting wires, that's all it takes.
When did I last do that? I think I was doing a DCC conversion and I think I had the engine on the track and I was trying to figure out if the LED was even working. And it happened to go across the board. Oh yeah, it worked. Didn't even get it onto the resistor, in time.
Well, the guys I'm working with and my layout owner, they're pretty challenged when it comes to electronics. So I decided not to implement the 3-volt bus. We'll just add resistors as
Oh
needed
yeah,
to the 5-volt
no,
bus. And he's doing quite well. I showed him how to make one control panel, and now he flew through and did all the rest by himself and
yeah.
lets me go off and do other heavier lifting stuff.
Oh, you get the guy who just did the 15. By the way, we need one more wire.
Yep.
Put it in orange.
We need you to crawl underneath the layout with a bunch of little cable clamps and screws and screw them to every stud and feed those wires through them. 2 wires actually, positive and a negative.
Yeah, yeah.
We even specially went out and bought um, white wire with a purple stripe and black wire with a purple stripe. Just so if you see those black and white wires with purple stripes on them underneath the layout, that's a 15-volt line. We just clearly made it sure that everyone noticed they were different. I mean, even
Right.
what's that?
No, no, good, 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 good.
I mean, even our normal bus is the 5 volts red and green because we think of that as Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Um, our clean 12-volt bus is gray and purple, no reason, and our dirty bus is blue and yellow. Again, no reason, but they're all different colors, so there's no issues with exactly what you're seeing when you see that bundle of wires together. Who's what? And who's doing
Mm-hmm.
what?
The I'm with a club, and of course there's standards in general for modules, and one of the standards I've seen is that your outside rail closest to yourself or the public viewing is considered red. Your next one is yellow. Next one is blue. Um, we won't get into anything else. I happen to consider my programming track green, of all things. But what I do is that I've been drawing up specs on my own module that I'll use the red for hot, but red black is going to be pin 2, but it's going to be for the what do you call it? The conductor fireman side. And then the next one will be yellow and yellow black and blue black. And that's the way that I was always taught. There's always a plus and there's always a minus, or neutral or common or whatever you want to call it. But you've got to identify them by color as a difference, let alone by numeric on the item that you're plugging into. That's a given for a numeric on the item you're plugging into, but you've got to identify it as a color in general. And I'm trying to quietly convince people that are old time electronics people. I'm just going to use a piece of trailer cable, brown, black, yellow, and green. I give
You're
up.
preaching to the choir. So
Yeah, no, right.
I'm my day job is a network engineer, software engineer, and I come from a long line. Like UPS taught me a lot about documentation, which I used to think was a waste of time, but again, they taught me the value in it. And then I went and applied for a job with the government, and they were impressed with my ability to create and read documentation, especially for upgrading like Novell servers and such.
Sure.
So I got hired by the feds, and to begin, my job was 90% in the lab, 10% documentation, which I was okay with. Today, as a project manager, I'm 10% in the lab and 90% documentation, which is, if you told me that 20 years ago, I would have cursed you out and kicked you in the ass. And there's no way I'll be a project manager. How dare you take me out of the lab? You know, that's where all the fun's at.
I
So,
know.
with my anal retentiveness of being a big documentation person, had to preach to Ken and said, dude, we got to do this. You know, the theory is if there's a problem with the layout, we should be able to sit at the kitchen table and figure out where the problem is before we go into the layout and start sticking our head in all the cobwebs and trying to figure out what's going on. And he was a little resistant at first, but then somewhere in the first year or two, we had a problem with trying to figure out where one of the tortoises was not acting properly. And because of our documentation, we tracked it down like in 30 minutes, which would probably taken us 3 days had we not had our documentation. So yeah, so I'm very big on documentation. So we even document all the colors of cables we're using. We're documenting everything. I mean, if I showed you my book, you'd be like, "Oh my God, that's too much. That's crazy." Yeah, okay, it's crazy, but I'm a big
About
fan of
yay thick?
documentation.
About yay thick?
Actually, the first one we have, which covers the boosters and DCC in general, and all the blocks and tortoise numbers, and we've got, I don't know, 200 PowerPoint slides. God knows how many spreadsheets documenting the macros that are in the mini panels, and um, spreadsheet showing where each tortoise is. Like we have a picture of a control panel with AI with a switch 8, and we document all the tortoise numbers on each port on the switch 8, and we have a table so we can look up the table quickly. We labeled all of our tortoises with their address number on them, just so we know. Look at the layout. Oh, look, that's 1234. You should be able to dial accessory 1234 and then throw the switch if you had to. So yes,
Right.
we have a book. The first one's 3 inches. Now the second one is nothing but signaling, which is just for me. And yes, it's already 3 inches. And I might have to go to a 4 inch one because of some of the stuff I just discovered with documenting each of our signals. One PowerPoint slide for each signal is not enough. So might be doubling up our signals. And I think we have 63 discrete signals and 84 or 88 heads. So on the layout.
That sounds about right.
If you guys are
Thoroughly
in
difficult.
Maryland around the Mount Airy area, which is just west of Baltimore, let us know. We'll let you come in for a look.
Okay. The documentation I'm looking at is that I'm doing a level 1 doc where it says, here's how we're going to build it. Now just get it built. And wiring, it's just the club side. My side, I'll worry about later. Just, get the club side done. That's your red and yellow 4-pin. They were using Jones cinch plugs. I got them off of that into the green Phoenix contact type plugins that you can add the screw type or just go non-screw. And the extra documentation I'm not worrying about right now to even document because you of the wonderful statement, you've got to start sometime, otherwise you're never going to have a layout.
Oh yeah.
Because
And
you could, I imagine in yours, you could spend 3 years documenting. And did you ever have fun in between?
well, in the beginning, so we have a crew of right now we have
Okay.
about 6 guys that we've actually, vetted, so to speak, because we've told people it's Ken's layout. It's not a club layout. And
Right.
we don't want people coming here, hey, I want to learn how to lay track. Let me learn how to lay track. No, we need someone who can lay track well from the beginning. Um, but we have taken on a couple people who are willing to learn, and we've mentored them and tutored them, and they've turned out pretty good. Like the guy running the cable, dude, he could
Mhm.
hardly tie his shoes, but now he's doing pretty good. He's doing his resistor wheel sets and such. He's installing the resistors for the wheel sets. And he's doing a good job. So he's come a long way. But again, we vetted a lot of these guys out. So we know the crew we work with. But the story I'm trying to tell here is we would start, let's say at 8 o'clock ish at Ken's basement, and Ken and I would be out in the family room, and we would spend first 3 hours just talking about planning and what's got to be done and setting up a list of tasks. And we'd have the other guys go do stuff, but for the first half of the day, Ken and I'd be doing nothing but talking about planning, and then we would actually go do stuff. And we started feeling bad, guys. Sorry we aren't helping you, but we are truly working on the layout. We aren't just chit chatting here talking about last night's football game. We are actually working on the layout. And after a while, they kind of got it. And they started seeing our documentation. And they started seeing how everything was going together really well. And that we only had to do things once. We didn't have to go back and redo something because we screwed it up or it didn't work out so well. And then everyone's been drinking the Kool-Aid since. So now all the guys that are working on their own layouts, they're starting their own documentation. And it's pretty fun to watch. But I used to belong to a modular club myself for, oh God, 25 years. And I was president for 12. We had one guy
Mhm.
there who would sit there and say, "Oh, my stuff is color coded. If it's yellow, it's wire." Uh-huh. And we're like, dude, it doesn't work that way. You need to have a red and a black, orange and black, blue and black, yellow and black for each of the 4 tracks that are supposed to be on your module. He just made everything yellow. If it was yellow, it was wire. So troubleshooting his module was a pain in the ass.
Can you imagine if you're building a custom power supply, how many wires are in it?
Oh
Just
yeah.
come up with a number. Just throw me a number.
Oh shoot, dude. I'm gonna say one of my college finals was to build a power supply and a regulated power supply.
Sure.
I'm going to say you could easily have like 20 different colors if you want to be discreet.
Yeah. So let's say we've got around 1,000 wires.
How big of a power supply are you
The
doing?
customer, well, this is a dual channel, 600 volt,
Oh,
six,
okay.
no, no, 600 amp, 60 volt custom power supply, dual channel, because it would hook onto a magnet for pulling silicon rods to be sliced wafer for silicon chips. Okay, now I'm the power supply. So I got 480 volts coming off the line going into a transformer. The customer wanted all yellow wire. It's going into a clean room.
Huh.
They couldn't see colors in the clean room. And they had to be numbered.
Well, that makes sense.
Yep. I got us lucky. Which yellow wire am I looking at? So your guy building a layout and is only going to use yellow? I'm over here laughing. Had to
One of our
be.
guys, he is a retired police officer, and we make fun of him because we didn't know this, but he was colorblind. He is colorblind.
No, I mean, and that was going to be the next question. Yeah.
So we sent him into the helix. We wanted to
Mhm.
add one more block at the end of the helix to be the quote unquote end of the layout. So in Jamari, we'd have a virtual block. That way, the last signal on the layout, it wouldn't be just red or green. We could make it yellow, red, or I mean, yellow, red, or green.
Mhm.
So we need the extra block cut in. So the top layer, get up on the ladder, and you can easily take the last lap and cut in, some rail gaps and wire in the new feeders. But the problem was the feeders were gray and green, and to him they looked the same. And he didn't say anything. So when he got all done, he kept shorting, zzz, zzz, and I had to help him troubleshoot it. Yeah, when one of the feeders, he fed a green to a gray and a gray to a green, therefore obviously he was shorting out. But
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't imagine being a cop and being colorblind. What do your lights look like? Flashing gray, flashing gray, flashing gray. It would not be red and blue. It'd just be gray, 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 gray.
The the other colorblind I've had to deal with was playing pool, billiards. He couldn't, if he didn't see the number on the ball, he was shooting at the wrong color.
Oh, that makes sense too.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. But yeah, fortunately, he didn't mind me calling time out for a second. Yo, you're on the wrong ball. Don't move.
Then we had another guy in the club.
Sure.
Excellent guy in scenery. His name's Bob Mott. He now lives in Cincinnati. He moved out there, but he was an army doctor in preventative medicine. Otherwise, he would have flown planes. He said, but he's colorblind, and he makes the best scenic express super trees.
Hmm.
And we're just wondering, like, we're always
Wow.
amazed being colorblind. How's it he can make these great looking trees? But then we start thinking about it. It really doesn't matter if he's colorblind or not, because if he looks outside and the tree is purple to him, as long as he makes those super trees the same shade of purple, well, then they're going to be the same shade of green that we see. And that's basically what he's doing. He's just making the same shade that he sees in real life with the model trees.
Yeah,
And there,
right.
he did excellent job on his trees and the modules he built.
Hmm. So yeah, we're buddy of mine and I are talking about, well, we want to go to signaling with the modules and all this stuff. I'm saying, fine, we'll deal with the plugs and we'll deal with the wires and deal with all those numbers and colors and everything else after we get our track laid down, please. We can come back and put in insulators, we can come back and put in a hole for a signal stand,
Yeah.
you know. It's like, you want to enjoy it, or do you want to keep designing on the computer for the next 3 years?
Well, we thought we were kind of smart. We knew where signals were going to go. So we put in insulated rail joiners where we thought signals were going to go.
Mhm.
This
Sure.
one helped us one put in the EB1s, the circuit breakers per block as we install the wire and so forth. And it also helped us, divide out boosters because our boosters run vertically. So a booster runs all three decks in a slice, so to speak, vertically. And we got the layouts cut off in 6 sections. So it helped us go along to isolate. But then we started going with the signals, found out, oh, this signal needs to be 18 inches to the left. Okay. So one of our guys, he's got like this German wire saw. Oh my God, it's so awesome. He cuts the thinnest gap inside the rails and he puts a little piece of styrene in there, CAs it, sands it down with a Dremel, and then paints it. You can't even detect it. But the problem is we now have 18 inches to the right an insulated rail joiner that we've bridged because we've extended that track a little bit farther. But if you look along the track, visually you're thinking that's the end of a section, and it's not truly the end of a section. It's just an insulated rail joiner in the middle of a block or 18 inches from the end of a block. So now we got to go back and take I'm telling him we got to take them out. He goes, well, it's going to be a pain in the ass. Now we're going to have a gap there. I said, well, dude, you're excellent with your gaps of plastic for the signals that you're cutting in. Just put a thicker piece of plastic in where you're taking out the rail joiners and sand them all down and paint them. That way we won't notice them. That way we know where the signal's at is a gap, not in the middle of the block out here or something, or get tricked by it. Because when the ballast is in, when the weather's all rails are all weathered,
Oh, right.
we will
Hmm.
burn ourselves and we'll get tripped up left and right. I'd say we got to take care of this now. So, Steve, back to my original question or my original thing about the power lock. And I asked Dick specifically, the question still stands. Is it worth doing a portion of the layout with power lock? He said, Bill, the main reason to implement power lock is if you're automating your layout. The reason for this is the automation software loses track of the trains if the occupancy goes away while they are running. The power lock prevents this, Dick. So that was my, I guess, words from God saying I don't need to worry about power lock on the BOD8s because as soon as the short's cleared, any trains that are in that block, all the cars, the engines, the computers, they all have resistor wheel sets. They're all going to show occupied, and all the signals will instantly reset correctly. because if there's a short, they're not running anyway. So it's not like I can't see my signal because there's a short. You're shorted. And if you're affected by it, then yes, you're not going to see your signals. But on those same lines, if you're on a main one and your EB1 shorts and you're on main two and you have a different EB1, then you're going to keep going and so will your signals because you're being detected. So your signal should still be okay because you're not affected by the short in the first place. And that was the reason why we did not put DCC to the BOD8s.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I did to mine so that um, signals uh, behind me wouldn't change, that they would
Sure.
stay the same till the short got rid.
Sure. Sure. I get that.
Yeah, that's the reason why I did it. There's a lot of playing around with this stuff, trying things, and sometimes you'll find things that don't work the way you want it to, and other times you'll find stuff that does. So it's quite a hobby. It's got a lot of different things to it. Keep
When
you
I
up.
was in the club, I thought I was a master of DCC, but it turned out I was only one third the master because I knew everything about mobile decoders. I didn't know nothing about accessory decoders or signal decoders. And then we started Ken's layout. I didn't know how we were going to do signals or detection or anything like that. And then I learned about what a accessory decoder is and how we can drive turnouts. And I had a card table set up in this family room while they were working on bench work and framing out walls. I had a big pile of phone wire and alligator clips, and I was goofing around with tortoises and the switch eights and a command station trying to figure out how all this stuff worked and putting it all together. So yes, I learned all about accessory decoders, and then I saw that there was such a thing as signal decoders. And then one day it struck me, well, as a network guy, do I have to run a different network for the accessory decoders? Do I have to run a different network for the signal decoders? How does that happen? How does that magic happen? Because they told me my address range for mobile decoders is supposedly 0001 through 9999. I've got 0001 through 2096 or something for accessory decoders and signal decoders. I'm like, well, if they're on the same network, how does that really work? And then I did some research and found out they all are they're supposed to be on the same network. They're supposed to be off the rails, the DCC network, and that a packet that is put out there for a mobile decoder is formed differently than for an accessory decoder, which is formed differently for a signal decoder. So even though an engine might have an address 1234, a signal might have an address of 1234, and a turnout might have an address of 1234, depending on what tool is creating the packet for to throw the turnout or to tell the engine to turn its horn on or whatever, those packets are formed differently. So when that accessory decoder is out there on the rails and the engine 1234 says, "Hey, look, a packet 1234 for me." Whoa, I don't understand this. I ignore it. That's all it does. It ignores that because it doesn't understand how that packet's formed, which is kind of cool. The guys who thought about DCC are pretty smart fellows.
Yeah, they are, but the reason LCC was developed was to get all that kind of information off the DCC network.
Well, yeah, because no one had really stress tested out and see how big it scaled out or couldn't scale
Yeah.
out. And I get that. So we were also told from the beginning we would see congestion on our UTP bus because we've got as a backup. Um, we have 30, 33, 32 UTPs around the layout, and they are our Cat 5 UTPs. If you ask me one day, I'll tell you why I like Cat 5 UTPs. But we also have the mini panels and the AIUs, which are also technically on the same throttle or on cab bus. So it was originally, between the two decks, we would, go across the front of the lower deck, hit a UTP plate or two, and we would go behind and up to the second deck and hit a mini panel and go over and hit a AIU and then go back down and hit the next set of UTPs. So we're zigzagging up and down and across the whole layout with a really long UTP bus, which requires power injection every so often. So told about this thing, we might have congestion. And I said, well, they said, you're going to need a second command station. We're like, okay, let's just do it. And then sure enough, somebody tell me where's the instructions on how to set up a second command station. And after a while, everyone in the NC group said, well, there are no instructions yet because no one's done it. What? Turns out even JMRI couldn't support two command stations at that time. So what we did was I rewired all the UTPs to be Cat 5. Um, and that's one segment. And then we have the upper bus, which is all mini panels and AIUs together. And they all kind of converge right next to the command station. And we're using a Cat 5 UTP as like a hub, a USB hub, so to speak. And that way they all converge there, including the radio, the wireless antenna, the wireless, the radio base, I should say, comes in there. And there we have a short 18-inch segment that comes from that Cat 5 hub um, UTP into the command station. This way, if we do see congestion on that bus, they all terminate there. It's all easy to take that second bus and just put into a second command station. And now JMRI, when you go into select your command station, it shows NCE1 and NCE2. So it does now support two command stations. Hopefully we won't have to get there, but I did kind of future proof myself to make sure in case we have that problem, we'll see it. And again, if I do my layout, I will keep all my accessories and signals off of and detection off of the UTP bus and put it on the LCC side. Again, one of the few things I would do differently than we're doing Ken's layout, but we're doing, I think, an incredible job. And people are taking pictures all the time. He has an open house. And how did you do this? How did you do that? Oh, can we do that? Sure, go ahead and do it, man. And they want to like, can I take a picture of your book? Dude, email Ken. He'll send you the PowerPoint slides. That way you can just starting from scratch or whatever. Just take his stuff and modify it. No sense reinventing the wheel.
What I researched was similar to what you're talking about. And that is that you take command station and you run it over to your DCT track. But you take a second wire set and run it over to a it's like a circuit breaker, but it's not. It's an accessory card. So that way all your accessories are not drawing power from your standard DCC rail.
Yep. We did that similarly. So like every booster,
booster, thank you. I couldn't get to that word.
Each one of our boosters,
Yep.
we have our EB1s that hang off of it. And, the booster
Right.
powers EB1s. But we also add in one additional EB1 for every booster. And this one we bought green wire with a yellow stripe and black wire. And it goes out to that EB1, and that EB1 goes up and feeds the switch 8s and such.
Right.
So if there's a short on the layout, yes, that EB1 goes down, but our DCC stuff can still have the ability to throw a turnout to correct a short dead if that was the case.
Right. And that's the reasoning behind that your DCC command station talks to your rail, but it will route over to a booster that then talks to your accessory, your DCC accessory line pair, whatever you want to call it. What color you guys use for that?
For
accessory.
That would be our black and a green with a yellow stripe.
Ooh.
We did try to stick to the solid colors for most of the layout, so all the
green with yellow stripe.
Well,
I know what that means.
I have no idea what that means.
Ground.
I'm trying to think.
That's your European symbol for ground, not just plain green for ground.
That's a happy accident because obviously it's not ground because black is ground. So I've got two ground wires coming out, right?
Yeah, we won't talk about blue being your neutral, which is white. It's signal.
I'm trying to think. We had a special order of the green with the yellow stripe, but again, we're only using it just from a booster to the first one EB1, and that EB1 is going from knee level back to the back of the layout up to the top, underneath the top deck to where our service panel is that has our um, mini or switch eights and such on it. That it's not that long of a run.
Sure.
But again, we're powering them and we're giving them DCC separately than the rest of the layout segments. So again, yeah, if there's a short, we don't affect the electronics.
Yeah, so we're going red for our main, yellow for a main for the club, and then the blue is siding, is what it's technically called, but it's my side, my
Right.
DCCEX side, and green was my programming track. So green, green, black was my programming track, or programming feed from the DCCEX to the programming track.
For our mains and for our block detection wire, say block detection is, a parallel wire that all the feeders come into, and then there's only one feeder that goes through the coil before it goes down to the DCC bus. All
Mhm.
those we just did arbitrarily pairs of solid colors. And the reason was at the end of each block, we just change colors. So if you're at the layout and you see the red and blue end and orange and purple begin, that's the end of one power block and the beginning of the next.
Ah, okay, that's a nice
Um,
transitional
yeah, and say that's what we
series.
do for the mains. Oh, here's a question: what color wire are you using to be a reference ground for all your boosters and command station?
To me, it should be your green yellow.
We'll see. There's one wire color I knew I wouldn't use much of, so we made it hot pink.
Ah, isn't that pretty?
There's a hot pink wire that runs from each
But
booster
that makes sense.
and it also runs around the entire layout. So if you see a hot pink wire, you do not ground to it
You,
unless you're a booster or
yeah,
a
do
command
not
station.
touch it, and yeah,
That's
don't
also the
don't.
documentation. We have one whole slide showing a hot pink wire just connecting boosters and command station, just saying this is the reference ground. Don't touch it. So I'm
Yeah,
just, I think Jameson Electronics is where we got the green with the yellow stripe.
I'm
And
not surprised.
there was
Mhm.
some company off of Amazon that we got the white with purple and black with purple. You could get all
Well,
kinds of cool color combinations, but again, a little
yeah,
more, it's more expensive. But
yeah,
when you run out of colors because you've used all the normal solid colors that are available from your normal wire supply company, we need a little bit the difference there to uh, identify them separately from the rest.
yeah. When I was building out of California, those power supplies, we would get all of our Belden wire out of like a company named Alpha Wire or something like that. It wasn't just Granger that we get it from.
Yeah, yeah, it wasn't one of the common guys.
Mm-mm. Or who's another, or Ace Hardware, or
Or Home Depot.
oh, Feaston, you went there. Lowe's.
Now, generally, there's a wire I think called Tri County Electronics or something. They're a commercial supplier, and we would just go by either 100-foot rolls or of whatever
Right.
color we needed.
My whole thing is trying to get electronic parts without going to China. Right now, it's just easier for me to go to, AliExpress and get it out of China because it lists, it's there, and I'm not having to pay the exorbitant USA pricing
Yep.
if I wanted to get an item out of Newark Electronics and I just found Aero Electronics out here in Reno, Nevada. So I mean, I'm jealous. But I had like 30 miles away, across a bridge, pay toll, uh, Jameco Electronics over in Redwood City. I lived over in Castro Valley, so I mean, it wasn't like I couldn't get stuff. But we were always ordering from DigiKey or Newark Electronics or another one began with an M, and I can't think of it right now.
Mauser.
Thank you.
Yep. I do miss Radio Shack though.
Oh, don't go there. You
I
have
actually
no idea.
The one I really miss is a place called Bainesville Electronics, which was here in Towson, Maryland.
Mhm.
And they had everything, and they had the smartest people working behind the counter. You
Mhm.
walk up with your circuit design, and hey, man, I want to build this, but I'm having a problem, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, well, look, your capacitor rating's too low over here. I mean, they were all like double E's with master degrees who work behind the counter. Just like it was crazy. And you could get any part you needed. Oh, it's just amazing. But they closed down right before COVID. And man, he talked about deflating the entire model railroad community in this area. It's like,
Yep.
oh, now what are we going to do?
Well, I used to my it wasn't my first retail, but it was my first technical retail was Radio Shack in Livermore out of an SMIA store. That's a special managers incentive agreement store. So he could carry anything he wanted, but he decided to stay with Radio Shack products. So when the computers came out, of course, I went gaga nuts. And well, no, that was 4 years before I was out of high school. So I was a computer expert by then. And, you know, it was like living in a dream story. If they had a national anthem for Radio Shack, my house would end up standing on end. So yeah, no, that when they closed up, I did find one. It was in Sydney. Is it Sydney, Nebraska or Wyoming? There's a Walmart, there's a Pilot, there's a strip mall there along with a Tractor Supply, I think. And in that strip mall was a Radio Shack. I ran into it and I went, oh my word. I'm in Seventh Heaven. Now I hear Radio Shack is trying to come back just for the electronics hobbyists.
Yeah, I don't think so. Not a high profit margin there.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. I mean, even today, all of our TVs are disposable, all of our electronics are disposable.
Cell phones, computers. When they
What's
went
not,
into computer and when they went into computers that were um, not theirs and cell phones that weren't theirs and all that, they lost profit margin, they lost um, you know, the chunk of the market.
but just the technology has changed because
Oh
even
yeah.
the military, when I joined the Army back in 1983, I joined in for the electronics because I wanted to learn electronics. So go through my basic and then my AIT. The Army taught me rudimentary electronics, which I already knew because even as a
Yeah.
14-year-old, I was doing the model railroader signal system on your layout, kind of thing. You buy all these parts from Radio Shack, and I did. I made all my cards out of thick cardboard, and I had my own signal system. But anyway, the biggest thing the Army taught me was card swapping. So when you're doing a missile count and something goes wrong, you stop, you figure out, oh look, it's card number 753. So you go in and you pull out card 753, replace it with a new card 753 from Lockheed Martin, and then you resume your count, and they're like, all right, it's good to go now, and you send the card back. And no one ever fixed those cards, man. No one that sat there and went, did a
My dad did.
component repair on that stuff. It's just like the technology, even back in the 80s, was turning that way. Just do card swapping and get a new one. Throw all the old stuff away.
No, we were to a degree, we built our own isolant boards and things like that. And we would sometimes down to part rather we would swap for customer, but once it's come in, we would investigate, find out what's going on with it, figure out if it was a wiring issue or if it was something else, you know. So that way we had our and we never were ISO 9000 investigated
But no
issue.
one does that today, though.
Nobody.
No one does,
They don't do root analysis.
nope.
Mm-mm.
Just toss the card in the recycle pile. They'll
Yep.
grind it up for the silver and gold out of it, and that's it. Make new ones.
Here's your latest recycling. I'm serious. Somebody at church was getting rid of it, and I said, "I'll take it. I know it. I know what to do with it. Make it an AP port for my model train layout." Actually, I want to make it an AP port for my stupid fiber Wi-Fi because I can't get down to the other end of the 60-foot trailer. So yeah, I sounds like we're pretty close in the same age. I was graduated California, 1979. You're entering the army around 83.
Yep, I went into 83.
So, we're only a 5 year apart ish.
Sex is fun, love is free. We're the class of 83.
But yeah, it was definitely a time ago.
Yeah, I did my 4 years and came out and then went to college. That's why I usually I joined the army was for college fun.
Mhm.
Got my
Nothing
doubly
wrong.
from UMBC,
Mhm.
which stands for You Must Be Chinese.
Okay.
I guess you guys aren't from around here, are you?
No, I have no racial profile.
No, it's just that it just seems like everyone who goes to UMBC is Chinese.
Yeah, that's why I got the joke, I figured that part out. It was just, oh well.
But also, there's one
Yeah, and
week.
you're the only white boy in the whole campus, right?
Well, that and once a year they have the National Condom Week. So then our motto would be we use much bigger condoms.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other name for acronym for UMBC.
You bad. Hey, this is a family show. I mean, recording. I mean,
It's okay.
yeah, it's all right.
I've been told I better be wearing shorts and suntan lotion when I die because I'm going straight to hell. So
Nah.
I just tell my friends, just make sure you have a glass of lemonade waiting on me.
Too much fun. Yeah, lots of projects to do, no time to do them. That's my motto. You have no idea what my training room looks like, and that's just a standard bedroom. I still have a storage 10 by 20
Every
storage.
hobby shop that's within 50 miles of my house is scared to death that if I ever get out of the hobby, I'll put them out of business because I got more inventory than all of them put together.
Yeah, I know that one too. Like, what area do you want to run? Well, you didn't tell me. Do you want steam? Just because you're running a what is it, a diesel engine now, I can put steam on it. Go look at the 4014.
We built our house in 2003, and there are no poles in the basement. It's 3,000 square feet. I have no HVAC systems in the basement. I have no electrical panels. I have no sewer line running down the side of the walls. I have no water heaters, no pressure tanks. It's all open. No, again, no lolly columns. And that was 2003, and I still haven't put two boards together yet for a layout. The reason is twofold. One was,
You have kids.
well, we had one at the time. Now we have three, but that's not the big deal. See, when the basement was all open, just when we built it, we had all the modules down here in my basement for a photo
Yeah,
shoot for
sure.
Great Model Railroads. So if you have Great Model Railroads 2005, look at page 76, you'll see a picture of my work.
Okay.
Anyway, we're waiting for the photographer to show up. And my buddy Ken and I just met him 2 years earlier. we're talking about how expensive it is to store model trains. This guy out in Arizona's got these storage boxes, but at the time you wanted like $20, and they only hold like 8 passenger cars or 12 box cars or something silly. And Ken goes, "Well, you think we can do better?" I'm like, "I think we could." So I used my 8 years of knowledge from UPS, and he knew a guy in his church who worked at a box factory. Next thing you know, we're manufacturing specifically designed storage boxes for HO scale trains. So we thought,
You're those guys.
so you might have
Yeah.
heard of us. So what we did was we said, okay, what's the minimum? We had to do 500 boxes. We said, all right, we'll do 500. I'll take like 30. Ken will take like 25. It's all we thought we needed. And we'll just sell the rest of the show, the train show, and we'll be done. Man, they sold like hotcakes. So then we had to come up with like, we're worried about, foam sticking to the trains over time or whatever. So we called up Overland, asked them what they use. Oh, we use 1 mil plastic. So then I ordered 1 mil plastic for our boxes, and I dropped a box and it fell on its edge and had covered hoppers and tank cars in it, and they all pancaked in there. So all the handrails are bent up on the tank cars, and the roof walks are bent up on the covered hoppers. Opened that box up, and I got really sick. I closed that box, and it has not been opened in 22 years since then. I'm just waiting for a friend of
Yeah.
mine who's bored one day. Hey, man, I need you to fix all these cars for me. So we came up with divider strips to help prevent that from happening again. And then as we're carrying our boxes into the train show, like of our 120 car cold drag in 4 boxes, it's kind of cumbersome with in the arms. So then we came up with carrying bags. And next thing you know, we're like a full-fledged business. And decided to call our company the street I live on, Spring Mills Depot. And we've been selling our boxes since 2004. Then my buddy goes, "Well, hey, why can't we do our own custom cars?" I'm like, "Well, we can." So I found a company called Intermountain, and we end up doing 5 runs of cars with them.
I remember that.
And then Ken goes, "Why can't we make our own cars?" I'm like, "Well, I know a guy who goes to China once in a while. Let me see what he can find." And after 3 false starts, we finally found a factory that could do what we wanted, and now we're manufacturing our own cars under Spring Mills Depot. So you might have seen our DODX flat car,
Yeah, I think I have. Yeah.
I-12. That's us.
I think I just Facebooked you or something. I don't remember.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So anyway, why is I even going down? Oh, so because of the
So
box,
your basement turned into
yeah,
your
it turned
business.
into a warehouse. Because if you think about it, every year we were ordering anywhere from 1,400 to
Hmm.
1,700 boxes, which is a year's supply.
Yes.
It takes up a lot of room. It's taking over a third of my basement. So a third of my basement was the SMD warehouse. So
Yep.
that's one of the things that prevented me from building a layout. The other funny story I like to tell is that when the carpenters, the construction guys are here, what do you mean you need no columns in the basement for a model railroad empire? I'm like, guys, this is what we're going to do. We're going to put down an inch of water. We're going to freeze it. They're going to make it our indoor ice skating rink. We can't have any poles in there, otherwise we'll get hit. Got it, Mr. Carl. We got it. We're good to go. No columns. And off they
Yeah,
go.
you never say model train layout for
Yeah,
to a construction guy. He doesn't know what you're talking about. Say, I
exactly.
think,
Had to put it in terms they understood. So indoor ice skating rink.
hmm,
But the sad thing is, so I always thought about my, doing all this layout design and planning. I belong to the LD SIG and OPSIG groups and so forth. One of the things you got to do for planning is to figure out your maximum train length and such for your sidings. So I always thought, well, my maximum will be 40 auto racks. That should be plenty to have like 3 engines on the front, 40 auto racks in the caboose. That'll be my maximum train length. So that'd also let me have like an 80 car cold drag, roughly. And I was like, this would be great. Well,
roughly. Yeah.
once we got Ken's layout halfway built, we got the helix and the staging done, had it coming down to the bottom of the helix to Grafton. I decided, well, I'm going to bring over 20 auto racks just to get a feel how big this is. Holy crap, man. Those 20 auto racks are long as all get out, man.
I run when I was in Pleasanton, I and Autorex were just coming out from Walters. They're freaking 14 inches long.
Yep.
Okay, that's the start. Okay. So yeah, I ran 10 and then I ran 10 well cars. I mean, it was a long train by the time I
Yeah.
got said, oh, about half a dozen box cars on the end plus a flat car on the end. It was a long train.
So now reality has set in. Like I can't
Yeah.
do 20. I might be able to do 12, and that's going to suck with only 3 engines, 12 cars, and a caboose. That's going to look stupid. So now I'm trying to plan a 5,000 square foot addition. And again, I still haven't put two boards together, but yet I want to do a 5,000 square foot addition.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're going through because I've already been there, done that. In fact, I was telling somebody just a moment ago, I think I might have been telling Steve, that if you look me up under YouTube, you will find at the end of the year, I ran a test because I did DCC conversion of some Athearn engines for one of my guys at my club out here. He wanted 5 engines, 3 front end, 2 DPU, all consisted because he bought a $2,500 blade train.
A what
The
train?
blade train.
Oh, okay.
So the windmill
Yeah,
blades.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Turbines. The
Yeah,
windmills. Yep, I
turbine.
got it.
So that thing, when we put it on the layout of all our modules, and they're 30 some odd feet down, it still went around the corner to a degree as it just hit the end. So we figure it's around 32 feet long of total train with all the 5 engines and all the cars. So I put it up on YouTube. It's a 3-minute run. There's also a short um, for about a minute, I think. Short is. Um, but yeah, 32 feet long. I forgot how many. Oh, and it's 32 cars and engines, if I'm not mistaken, plus or minus one. I'd have to go find the sheet. So you're right. I mean, and our home layout, the one at the club, doesn't have no siding for 32 feet.
Right.
That was not even envisioned. Now, the one in Pleasanton at the fairgrounds, it's 120 feet long, you know, so we have sightings all over the place. So we can handle almost anything. Or if we can't handle it, I just make it, I tell stuff stop and let it go through to get clear.
Right. Put everyone else on the side and let it stay on the main.
Yeah, let him keep rolling direction. And then once the rear end passes, then kick stuff. But no, I think we had like about 120-foot siding, and I think it was split into 2 blocks. So we had upwards of 60 feet to work with. And crossovers and mainline and da, 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 da. So I'm spoiled for siding links. I know what to use them for and what link that I want.
Yep.
But I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm giggling with you, not at you. Oh, fine, I'm giggling at you too. Because it's so much fun to watch people go through this and get surprised and say, what? I need how much real estate? Yeah, it's plain real estate for a siding. You generally don't have anything else going on. So nobody else came on to help out.
Surprised Rodney didn't join.
Yeah, no, I am too. Hope it's okay.
He
I hear
has
my dogs are getting fed dinner, so I'm thinking that I should probably think about my.
your dinner.
I'm West Coast time.
Ah,
I'm not on the West Coast. Nevada is not the West Coast yet. Once California falls.
I'll say that's why I'm investing heavily in Nevada so that when the earthquake happens, I'll have a lot of oceanfront property.
Yeah, yeah. I like my beachfront property, please. But you're on the East Coast, aren't you?
That's correct, just outside Baltimore.
Yeah, I've been up in that area. I used to do hotshot driving delivery, drive a pickup truck with a trailer and pick up and deliver stuff up and down the picking up and delivering stuff out your area was a lot easier than trying to do it out of California.
I can imagine.
Yeah, West Coast, once you got past the Rockies, once you got into the heartland, everything became available. It was just real tough to get back and forth into Nevada or back and forth into the West Coast.
My agency sent me to Blythe, California a few times
I what's wild is I know where that is.
for a small site project, and there's only 5 people working the office out there, and they're all ladies, and they would just as soon have pencil and paper. They did not want computers or a dumb terminal to a mainframe or anything. So we're
Yep.
trying to figure out how to best set them up with server and workstations and so forth. And yeah, Blythe, man, talk about middle of nowhere.
Yep.
Only 2 traffic lights in town. One of them had a left turn signal. The other one didn't. I think the population of Blythe is 13,000, of which 10,000 is a nearby prison inmate population.
About half of that 3,000 that's left is probably all the inmate controlees, ERs.
Yeah, the guards and such.
Yep.
So
I was
here's a quick story from being out there. I used to be in the Hard Rock Cafe memorabilia, and
Mhm.
I used to collect the guitar pins. And over the years, I found other friends, people who collect other things like the shirts or the logo pins from each store with the name on them. Some were collecting shot glasses, whatever. So whenever someone in our group would go nearby to a Hard Rock or whatever, had a shopping list and got everyone's stuff and carry it back, and everyone got paid for their stuff, and everyone got their memorabilia. So I decided to get smart, and I looked up that it might be possible to hit 6 Hard Rock cafes in one day when I went to Blythe. And sure enough, I figured it out that if I went across the border first thing in the morning, I could hit Tijuana, then come back in the States, hit La Jolla, San Diego, go up, hit Newport Beach, Hollywood, LA. And I did all that, ate dinner at the Hollywood, and then drove across the desert back to my hotel in Blythe again. So I was able to hit 6 Hard Rocks in one day. Actually, I hit 7 in 24 hours because the night before I went from Blythe over to Phoenix and hit that Hard Rock and then drove back to the hotel. I was definitely a road warrior back then, but that was quite the adventure. And I actually have it on a web page somewhere on my site, documenting and talking about that. Other Hard Rock Cafe people, I can't believe you did that. I can't believe you did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I went to Tijuana, man, they were so happy to see me because I was there when they opened up at 11 a.m. And they gave me a soccer ball. They were giving me all kinds of stuff I didn't even want to buy. But
Sure.
I was buying like $400 or $500 worth of stuff at each one, and then my credit card got cut off at Newport Beach. So then I called the credit card company and say, "Hey, yes, this is me. This is not a bad charge. This is legit." And I got 2 more stops. I got LA and Hollywood to hit yet, so don't freeze my card up again. Oh, that was a mess. But it was fun.
No, I
California.
yeah, I'm out here in Lovelock, Nevada. I got away from the politics and other stuff of California, and Lovelock is one stoplight, one, and and all the people who live here hate it.
Are you up in northern Nevada or South
Northern
Las
Nevada,
Vegas?
yeah, yeah. I'm on highway off of Highway 80. Highway 80 cuts through town.
So is that north or south of Nevada?
North,
North of Nevada. Okay. I've
yeah,
been to Vegas a couple times.
yeah. We're north of that, closer to Reno, Reno Sparks.
Gotcha. Yep.
Yeah, we're exit 100 on Route 80 in Nevada.
I did.
Um,
I did enjoy Lake Mead and visiting the Hoover Dam.
Yeah, that was down south.
Yep.
Yep.
I like the dam tour with the
Yep.
dam guide, and I got the dam souvenir, and I got the dam videotape, and I got the dam T-shirt. You know,
I watched the videotape on YouTube the other day on how they built it. So no, if you drive for about an hour north of us, you'll get up into Gerlach. Gerlach is the Western Pacific line,
okay.
and that goes straight over ish to Portola, and then down into Roseville. Why do I know that? Because the 4014 2 years ago went through there, and I took video, and it sits up on my YouTube, raw video of the 4014 going through Gerlach. And then after it got done in California, it comes back through um, Donner and comes into Reno and then comes through Lovelock. Lovelock, it did stop here, and it's going to do it again this month.
Huh.
So
We are talking
hopefully,
about the big boy, right?
yep,
Yeah.
14, big boy,
Um. So the cool thing about the potential UPNS merger is
which
that
would be
it's supposed to come out this way during the summertime. So me and my 12-year-old will probably play hooky from work and from school if he's still in school, and we'll probably chase it around here on the East Coast a little bit here.
it's worth it. Take a look at a couple of my videos of raw, and you'll see why it's worth it.
All right.
But and you'll also look at,
Are they under Ray Bailey?
yeah, you should be able to search my name only,
Okay.
and then if you look for Big Boy or something like that, it might search you down to me sooner. I can't remember everything that I am on it.
Looks like we lost Steve, huh?
Yeah, Steve had to go, he said. So I mean, if you got to go too, that's all right. I can kick the recording off, and
Yeah,
it's
let's go ahead and kick it off because that way you can go eat dinner and all right, Ray Bailey TV, Ray Bailey Blues.
should have a number like 12 something. I forgot what it was.
Let's see, Ray Bailey looks like he's a guitar player.
No, not me. I did in the day, but not today.
You're definitely the wrong complexion.
Yeah, oh, okay, never mind.
From the pictures I see on here, you're definitely the wrong complexion.
Yeah, okay.
Let me see how you spell your last name.
Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey.
Yeah, I'm not the theater guy, although I wish I was. I see a general group of small various. I did YouTube Ray Bailey. It comes down to, yeah, Ray Bailey at RW Bailey 61. Yeah, it's at RW Bailey 61.
I'm
Find me.
looking.
I'll wear glasses and a APA pool hat and shirt. Sorry.
No, I'm not seeing you. I'm seeing a whole bunch of other stuff, but it seems non-train related. Oh, no, let's see. No, that's not it. Oh, did you close the session? No, there it is.
No, no, no. I'm still open.
Yep. Bailey, okay.
Yeah, it was like the fifth thing in the list from YouTube.
I got R Bailey 61. It's not showing me you.
RW.
RW Bailey. All right.
Yeah, sorry about that.
See, computers are very stupid. They do
Oh, they
exactly
are.
what you tell them to. They just do it really,
They do
really
exactly
fast.
what you tell them to do. They are so stupid.
But they just do it really, really fast.
Yeah, they show us how stupid we are really, really fast.
Well, it looks like you're the first one here.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That was
You
the
got
fifth
12
one.
subscribers, 10 videos. Test run of upgraded Athearn RTR SD40T-2s.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. So I found you.
Yeah, and then you'll find also the 4014 in there from Gerlach and Lovelock. I think I uploaded Lovelock. I don't remember now.
I see you're a Uncle Pete fan.
I'm a what?
Uncle Pete,
Oh.
UP.
No, I'm not a UP fan.
Just the first four videos, five videos are all UP engines.
Yeah, no, that's a misclaimer.
Out here in the East Coast, we call it the yellow Borg.
I got you now.
You will be assimilated.
Yes, yes. That's where I'm upset about. My mother was born Boone, Iowa. What runs out there? Or what ran out there? Chicago Northwestern.
All right.
Green and yellow. Green and yellow.
Yep, I see four videos here of 4014. Very cool.
Yep. So yeah, I'm a Chicago Northwestern, and 1995 was not my favorite year
Yeah.
in March. That was the absorption of that. I shed a tear. I did. I did.
Yeah, but wait until like NS disappears. That's going to be
Oh,
really crazy, man.
it's going to be. How do you get yellow and red with black?
You're not. You're just going to be just yellow and red, yellow gray.
Yeah. The actually I do know how you get it. You become a Rio Grande.
Nah, Uncle Pete will be too much.
Yeah, no.
And
Uh
then it'll be like CSX and BNSF and CP.
bingo.
It'll be all together.
Hmm. What it is that my family out of Boone also worked for Chicago Northwestern. Engineers, firemen, conductors, brakemen, steam and diesel.
Wow.
So yeah, I've got a heartfelt history for Chicago Northwestern. I'm just having to work with everybody else who wants to UP.
It's like that sometimes.
Actually, the last one that I actually got running really well was a New York Central engine with the lightning stripe on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, my motto is if it has an X in it, it sucks. That's why I model B&O Western Maryland chassis all the way up to the advent of CSX.
Yep. Well, X is unknown and spurt is a drip under pressure. They think they're experts, but they don't work.
Uh-huh.
They just paint well. I do like their current paint scheme. It's like a mirror. They keep it clean.
Yeah, but even their heritage units are stupid.
No, I didn't. Well, didn't go there.
Someone came up with a meme showing what all the CSX heritage units would look like at Spartan, North Carolina on the turntable, like NS did,
Sure.
because the noses are all CSX. That's all you saw across all 12 units was all CSX noses. You didn't see the back ends of.
I remember that one.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. All right, Bill.
All right, Ray, have a good one.
You too. Be safe.
You too. It's good chatting.
You got it.
Take care.
All right. Bye bye.